All right, do you remember a couple of weeks ago when US President Joe Biden let a Chinese spy balloon invade US airspace? He allowed it to float across the country, likely gathering sensitive intelligence for days. And after a public outcry, Biden eventually had it shot down. Since then, the Biden administration has been accused of committing an act of war by blowing up the Nord Stream pipelines. They're the ones that take gas, or used to take gas, from Russia to Germany. It's worth pointing out the US denies this claim, and Russia has publicly accused the UK of the sabotage. But the journalist making the claim about US involvement, a guy named Seymour Hersh, he's a Pulitzer Prize winner. He's got a track record of exposing big stories. He won the Pulitzer Prize for international reporting in 1970 when he exposed the My Lai massacre and its cover-up during the Vietnam War by the US Army. Hersh also helped expose Nixon's Watergate scandal. He also broke the news in 1973 that United States B-52 bombers made at least 3,500 secret bombing raids over Cambodia in a 14-month period beginning in March of 1969. Now, I mention these things to highlight that Hersh has a track record of exposing secrets that the US government would prefer to keep hidden. Right now, we don't know if what Hersh reports about the pipeline terrorism is accurate. But wouldn't you know it, just before the mainstream media could even consider giving Hersh's report the coverage it deserved, the White House became fully preoccupied about UFOs in US airspace. It was then the only thing the mainstream media could report about US politics. These invading balloons were such a danger, we were told, they rendered the Nord Stream act of war into irrelevance. The US was so concerned they scrambled jets and they fired missiles worth hundreds of thousands of dollars each to bring down these mysterious objects. And they even rushed to defend Canada's airspace from these UFOs, which prompted a question that seemed to test the most hopeless White House press secretary in history. Have a look.
Why is the American military shooting something out of the sky over Canada?
Because it's part of NORAD. The NORAD is part of it's a what you call a coalition, a consortium,
pact of nations.
A pact,
okay.
Exactly. And so that's why we were able to do that. Again, we didn't do it on our own. We did it clearly in step with Canada.
All right. Eventually, the US White House admitted they didn't know what these things were, but they did express confidence they were not alien spaceships. But then there was this sudden breakthrough. These objects were deemed likely balloons not tied to Chinese surveillance. Whoa, what a relief, eh? Unless, of course, you're part of the Northern Illinois Bottlecap Balloon Brigade, that is. That's a small hobby club of balloon enthusiasts whose latest project appears to have fallen victim to one of these $600,000 Sidewinder missiles. The club's silver-coated party-style pico balloon was last reported off Alaska on February 10, but it would have been right where the F-22 shot down the floating invader over Canada, or as White House Press Secretary Karim Jean-Pierre just called it, Canada. These pico balloons retail for between $12 and $180 US, and all three objects shot down by the US Air Force matched their description. This is what the world's greatest superpower has been reduced to. It merely watches communist spy blimps while shooting $600,000 missiles at $20 hobby balloons because they're a strategic threat. And this is the mob that people entrust the future of the free world to. This has all the hallmarks of a confected crisis designed to distract from the real issue, that the United States under Joe Biden is fueling the Ukraine-Russia conflict and leading us directly into World War III.